Am I live? Let's double check. Oh, I am live. Can you see shit? Yep, you can see shit. Okay. Okay, time to sit down. Been hiding this for way too long and it's been affecting my life in all sorts of like crap ways. But you know what? It's like, well, first off, disclosure. When I reveal things like this, I have the tend to like delete it and then get super scared afterwards and just stop doing YouTube in general. But you know what? It's like, by the way, let me do all chat, live chat. There we go. But it's like, yeah, this is probably just going to turn into a video that was live streamed at this point. So I have bipolar 1, bipolar type 1 with psychosis, and I was diagnosed at the age of 15. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. I was diagnosed at the age of 15, and that like crippled my high school life, and I didn't finish high school because of it. I got my GED, but regardless, but no, but it's like this. It's just been trying to hide it. Just makes me feel super ungenuine, and people know I'm hiding something, right? They can tell by the way I talk that I'm trying to hide that I have bipolar and how it not bipolar, but they can tell I'm hiding something, and I have to hide this because people find out. It's like, oh, why didn't you tell me? And also at the same time, people like there are some people that say, oh, you're just using it as a crutch. Oh, it doesn't matter. Bullshit, it matters, dude. It really matters. And I'm just tired of hiding it, and I just want to help people that are like me, right? Because there are so many things I learned. Like, oh, bit right. Uh, uh, God, God damn it, YouTube, you piece. Okay, so uh, having bipolar at a young age really ends your social life. And I've only had friends either online or and just family, and that's it. That's all the friends I have. Some of the online friends I have are pretty cool, and they're pretty cool with me having it, but as soon as I tell people that I have bipolar, I I I get scared and I stop talking to them for a while. But I eventually come back, and that's the thing, right? And one of the reasons, can you guys even hear me right now? 6800. Can I change this on the fly? Uh there it is. Okay. So 6800. That better? I didn't go down, did I? Man, I don't even know how much of this is getting across. Man, I don't even know how much of this is getting across. Oh, crap. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Let me just change that real quick. Crap. Sound. Let's do that, please. I didn't like. Uh, okay, you can hear that now. Yes, I use Windows 11. Oh man. Okay. Oh man. Okay, anyways. Okay. Okay. Anyways, like at this point, I just want to help people like me, and just all the bullshit I've dealt with my life, and it's like I don't mean to swear, but it's like, oh man, like the amount of BS I've done, just because, and people scoff at me all the time, and it's always the sorry, my voice cracked. People scoff at me all the time, and it's just it's the same sort of scoff, like okay, like okay. I'm not trying to like imitate anyone, but it's always that sort of scoff. Like they're like they not a lot of people get me because not a lot of people understand what bipolar is or what and people not my bipolar, right? It's type 1 with psychosis. Usually when people have bipolar manic episodes, they get really really high and the next day they get really really low. But when I get really really high, I have psychosis, which means I feel like I'm dreaming. No, it's not. What the heck? I raised it. What do you mean? Do I have to restart the stream? Okay. But like, so I feel like I'm dreaming, and cannot, I cannot control myself because it feels like I'm dreaming, and it's almost like I become a different person, right? And I do this when I'm actually dreaming too, where I feel like I'm a different person, and the me that's talking right now is watching the other person in the dream, which is, anyways, there's a whole thing about like personality disorder or whatever, which I might or might not have, but it's like people don't understand, and that's fine. I just hope this is somehow reaching someone who's done this before or who's sorry, who's who have has what I have, right? And is just looking for someone to find someone like them that is struggling with the same things they are, right? And for example, uh, what makes it really hard is let me give you an example. Okay. So first off, I've been medicated since I was 15, and now I'm on three different medications from bipolar, and one of those medications is makes me have increased chance for diabetes, which I have. Increased chance for diabetes, which I have. And it's like, yeah, I have that, and I'm on new medicines and crap, and it's like very frustrating when stuff with diabetes affects my mental health. I don't know if it reacts with my medicine or if I'm just getting new voices in my head. And yes, I have voices in my head. It's not like an audio it's not like an audio hallucination like skiz or anything, or a visual and audio hallucination like skids. All the voices happen in my head as in thoughts, but it's like the voices have a mind of their own, which they I guess they do in some ways, but it's like also I know it's just me, and sometimes I'm probably going to like have a lot of voices tell me off after this for being stupid and whatnot, and why would you say something like this? Everybody's going to hate you. I'm just tired of this bullshit, man. I'm just tired of able to not being able to talk about these issues that I'm having and most likely other people are having. They might not have the same thing as me, but they might have something very similar or somewhat similar. And that's why I'm doing this, you know? Like, when I was like admitted to the mental hospital for the first time, I was unrecognizable for to someone who I normally am when I'm level, right? Or when I was before. And I would be so in psychosis that I I'm a different person. Like 1 to 1 a different person. And that scared the crap out of my parents and it like closed off a lot of opportunities for me. And that sucks because I'm not going to high school. And then I just get this idea like, oh, I'm going to go to college and everything's going to turn up from there. No, I fail college because the college I'm going to doesn't have any support for mental illnesses like me. I went over to like the the support group and I said, "Hey, uh I have bipolar. Is it still all right to go to the regular support group?" And they said, "Oh, we don't have support groups for you." That is crushing when you don't have a support line. And back when I first started college, I didn't even have like I didn't have a license at the time. I just recently got my license, which is such a big accomplishment for me. And I turned 30 recently, right? And I was able to get it finally this year after what, like, so 15, okay, 16, and that is, okay, 4 years, and then another 10, so 14 years. Like, I wasn't even able to get a license at the time where everyone else would have it. And then also, like, you go to church, and you can't, like, I go to church, right? I'm like somewhat religious, and there's things that happen to me at church where well, what I'm saying is, like, I've had spiritual experiences in the past, and, like, I can't deny that God somewhat has a plan for me. But at the same time, when people found out that I went to the mental hospital at that church, they're like, okay, this is too much for me. I'm not going to associate with this guy. And I completely agree with that. Sometimes it's way too much for people. Like, they don't understand and they can't handle someone who's like mentally lower than them. I'm not saying this in a bad way, right? It's like they don't know how to talk or react to someone like that. Like, like they just don't know. It's not like they are like discriminating against me. It's more like I don't know how to deal with this person. What do I do? Sort of thing, right? But it's like this doesn't this is like it's the equivalent of a person going to a different country, sort of. Like, it's a new culture, it's a new language. They don't know how to react to people, and they don't know what's offensive and what's not, sort of thing. Let me get some water. There's some water right here. Friggin' Jardians, man. Makes me go to the bathroom all the time, getting me dehydrated. Jardiance is a diabetes medication, by the way. But yeah, this is like I've been dealing with that, and for me, it's hard to talk. The reason, and okay, let's talk about work. The only jobs I've had in retail, and that's at Deseret Industries, which there's one up in Federal Way. There's like a few. It's like a West Coast thing that the LDS Church provides. I'm saying LDS because no one else freaking knows about it. Like it's Mormon technically, but we stopped calling ourselves Mormons, and yeah, there's a whole other thing. But uh, but like I was in Deseret Industries for like I couldn't get out of that job for 10 years, and shocker, a lot of people like me go there to try to get skills so they can actually live a better life. It's just that I've never had a a chance at a real job, and the real jobs I do get, well, it's not. Sorry, DI is a real job. You still do a lot of work, but you also have to do like work on yourself and try to do other things. But sometimes the work there is just so rigorous. That's all you can focus on because it's a lot of work. They do a donation center. You basically donate things and they have to process it, make sure it's good. It's basically a thrift store that tries to pass itself off as a retail store, right? Um, they'll do all use clothing and what stuff and try to give job training to people that don't normally have it. Like would, but for me, I couldn't get out of that job for 10 years. And when I finally got a job at like the dollar store, the pay was such like the pay at the DI was giving me $5 more than the dollar store. The dollar store is like $9 an hour, right? DI was like 10 or 12. And that was like post COVID, right? So they raised the it used to be like 7.25, but they raised it because people like inflation went up and whatnot, and they were trying to be good people. But the dollar store is just like it's a teenager job where they're still going to school and they just need money on the side. But that was like a complete shell shock, and I'm like, you know what? I have to be here for at least 4 months before I can get another job. And then I get another job, and it's am I under NDA here? I okay. Let me just say hardware store. I get a job at the hardware store, and I'm great for from January to October. And in October, well, in the summer I lose my insurance because I get you know like government insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, and like I it's like that's what I can afford, right? So, by the way, shocker, screw you to all the scam callers that got my phone number. I hate you. I don't need any more insurance, thank you. Stupid IRS. Anyways, um, like, and I've been trying to get disability like stuff for years, right? But they won't like give it to me. Yeah, and that's a whole nother thing going through that system and like for frig's sake, man, it's just trying to figure all this stuff out. Like most people get a job, they get insurance. And when I finally get the job at the hardware store, I'm good for January till summer, and then I lose my insurance from government insurance, and then I lose it, and I get super depressed because I'm worried about getting my job, getting insurance, and I keep saying to the guys at the hardware store, "Hey, can I work full time? Can I work full time?" And then they schedule me for like 3 weeks straight every day because they need someone there every day and they have no one else. But that put like over pressure on me, and then I decided to quit right when they needed me, and that looks bad, man. Of course that looks bad. And I really ended up doing that, and I feel like a big, big jerk for doing that, and it sucks because and also at the same time I felt like I was underappreciated, like really underappreciated, and I was seen as a troublemaker. And I don't know if that was me being mental and thinking it was me, uh, or just me. Like, so people say, "Oh, it's all in your head," sort of stuff like that. When actually they could be just straight up lying to you. And for me, who has no social awareness whatsoever, it sucks. And the reason why customers and people didn't like me is because I took everything the manager said to me super, super seriously. And customers got annoyed because I kept asking, "Hey, do you want to sign up for this credit card?" And I did that every time, and they people got really, really annoyed, and I had no common sense when not to ask and when not and when to ask. And I just did what the manager said. "Oh, ask every single time," and I did that to the T. And I was the only one doing that, and that's what I believe got me into being the troublemaker because people didn't like me. Also, like I mess stuff up sometimes, and that is right. Like orders being messed up is especially in very stressful situations, and also situations like I was a cashier, right? You have to deal with bu- bullshit customers and sometimes managers that don't give a crap about how you're doing. But there was some always like that. There were some really good people at that hardware store, right? It just felt off. Like real off. And I felt like I was not in the know and completely oblivious to what people were saying about me. And people wouldn't tell me what was going on. And when your general manager cares more about numbers than customer service, or that's what it felt like, right? I don't really know the nuances to all of this, right? I can only speculate because I only have I don't know what actually was going on, but it felt like people really, really didn't like me, and they just thought of everything I was trying. I feel like anything I would say would just sound like an excuse, and that sounds like anything someone says. That sounds like anything what someone says. "Oh, you're just making up excuses. I'm not listening to you." Yeah, yeah, that's the story of my life. Interacting with every most neurotypical neurotypical persons, and I guess yeah, I can understand that they don't understand, and some people aren't willing to understand. Some people are, which is that's great. But yeah, it's like I really wish I stayed, and that's the hard part, right? I wish I would have at least have given it a try, and that's the hard part when you're struggling just to do like a simple hardware store or part-time job. And maybe you think, and I was thinking, I mean, like maybe I can't work at all, and maybe I need to go on Social Security. And then something happened that I really didn't expect. I got my driver's license finally a month ago. Like a month ago till this day, plus two, give or take 2 or 3 days, maybe four. Um, and I finally don't have to rely on my parents for rides and go get a job where I can now go beyond my town and go somewhere completely like in a different town and actually get a job where I can commute, which I didn't even have the power to do so in the first place. And I'm thinking like maybe I should give it another shot and maybe I could, but fear is and the daunting task of not knowing what your life is going to be like in the future. Like I'm 30, man. People my age already have kids and a family. Well, at least where I live. But yeah, but it's like going to college, anything like this. And I'm worried that if I should go back to college in a different on a different community college or whatever. And it's tough because I really want to help people that are like me because I know it can be so difficult to even figure out. For me, I was extremely unlucky where I was put on a my first medicine for bipolar, olanzapine or Zyprexa, and I gained 80 pounds within the span of 2 months instantly. And I'm like, oh, we need to get him off this. And I get off this, and no other medicines. Like we got what is it called? It's a salt. What is it called? It starts with an L, I think. Anyways, there's this salt they try to put me on. They try to put me on that at first, but they found Zyprexa worked the best. So, and then they tried to. A different doctor said, no, 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 let's put him back on that. And then I have to go to the mental hospital for the second time. And then I've tried to get off Zyprexa for like 4 years, and nothing else works. Like I can add things to it to make the side effects less. Like I'm on lamotrigine or lamictal for a mood stabilizer. I'm on quetiapine that all helps the Zyprexa. It's also an antipsychotic. Quetiapine is also Seroquel if you want to look that up. So yeah, I'm just done hiding this, and I'm ready to just help people like me. So really, if you have any questions, make a comment. This is probably just going to be a video you see because no one's actually going to watch the live stream. I know my viewers don't like watching live streams and they just watch the live streams later, which is totally fine. So the question is, Do I or do I not just straight up tell everyone I have bipolar disorder, or just a few key people? Because I've done the few key people thing for a while now, and that doesn't work out for me at all, at all, man. And that's like my psychiatrist, like he's more of a nurse practitioner, but he's been with me since I was 15, so 18, excuse me. And he's been with me for a long while, and I just give props to him because he's been with me when I've tried to get off it and like get off Zyprexa, I mean, and he's understanding that I have to deal with all these issues. Also, for Zyprexa, there are some side effects other than weight gain, and the other one is prolactin. Uh, pro. What's the word? Prolactin in the so olanzapine or Zyprexa sometimes uh, uh gives or induces the hormone prolactin, which is cause of breast growth. So yeah, I have breast growth as a 30-year-old man, and it's basically like a B cup. And and since I have Zyprexa, I have a belly too, which doesn't look as bad. But when I was exercising a lot and doing a lot of physical work at the DI, my stomach was gone, but the breast stayed. And that's a whole nother bag of beans, right? And it just sucks. Like, most people don't even have to worry, like, don't have to go through what I go through. But I'm pretty sure there's a ton of people that have similar experiences with medicine. Also, fun fact. When I tried to get off Zyprexa when I was like 26, 27, 25, no, yeah, 26, 27. I tried to get off Zyprexa, and I had insane nightmares. Like, way insane nightmares that I was just trying to get on Seroquel, and these nightmares would not stop, and I was having, like, like thought distortions out the wazoo when I was awake, and then I would just take the medicine at a certain time, and then I would be sleeping constantly in this perpetual loop of nightmares. And it sucked. And I had night terrors too. I would wake up screaming. It got that bad. Also, fun fact, when you take medicines and start taking medicines, that can also start nightmares when you start taking a medicine. And when you get off it, it's got the nightmares are gone. And there's so many other different things like that with medication like this, with for depression or whatnot, that can just make your life insanely hard. Insanely hard. But for me, I'm taking the bipolar medication because otherwise I would be out on the street. Insane. I would be the crazy guy on the corner. But there's so many other things that people have to watch out for. Like, for example, what is it called? Oh, there it is. So I was recently put on this medicine called Farxiga, Farxiga, which is basically the same thing as Jardiance, but this one had some unnecessary. By the way, you can hear that. I need to dispose of this the right way too. So Farxiga made me feel like I was in a dream and there was this permanent fog. It made me feel like I'm in a dream in this permanent fog. And it was changing the way the voices in my head were thinking, and then turned into a completely different voice eventually, like after a few days of taking it. And it turned into like a very aggressive and angry and cutting and very, very, it's not scary. Like, I know what fear is, right? It's not like induced fear. It's more like induced self hurt. I'm not saying self harm, I'm saying self hurt. It's not giving me suicidal thoughts. Caveat, I have gotten a diabetes medication that made me have zero. It was actually hypertension that gave me suicidal thoughts. But this was just plain mean to me and it was hurting. Um, so yeah, that's a whole can of beans. And then I was put on Jardiance and now I'm having trouble sleeping, which is the worst thing you can do with bipolar. But for me, it's like I'm going to go on it for a couple of more days. I realized that Jardiance was keeping me awake for an extra 2 hours at night, which I'm already doing an extra 2 hours. So it's an extra 4 hours combined with the extra 2 hours, which I get from taking my my Zyprexa and my other antipsychotics. Keeps me up until 12 a.m. And then okay, also, with olanzapine, lamotrigine, and quetiapine, I have to eat a lot of stuff. Either at 12 p.m. or mostly at 12 p.m. or to 1 p.m. I have to eat a lot just to get like make me not be hungry at night and make me be able to actually feel like I can sleep. Oh. By the way, if you don't know what hypertension is, it's just high blood pressure, basically. So, also, when your parents, I had my mom get diagnosed with type 2 kidney disease. And what we found out is the soda we were drinking every day, the dark colored soda, the Diet Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper that we've been drinking like almost every day, caused her type 2 kidney disease. And then we both stopped drinking Pepsi and that. And I've been on, basically, I still need caffeine during the day because of freaking metformin, which is the other, like, I'm a lot of pain for not bipolar, for hypertension, and then metformin and Jardiance for diabetes. So friggin' amlodipine, I've been on that for a while. But since I stopped drinking the dark colored sodas, my hypertension has been weighed down and I'm doing fine with it currently. So, yeah. Stop drinking dark colored soda. Right now I'm just on caffeine pills and friggin' Fresca. And that's expensive, right? And yeah, that costs a lot of money, but prices went way down when my mom completely stopped drinking soda at all, which is good for her kidneys, and she kind of has to do that because, yeah. Um, yeah, and I'm on most of the same medications as my parents, that what they take for diabetes. I'm on that. They're 62. I am 30. Yes. By the way, people with diabetes that are my age, relatively common, right? But I've been on this for like amlodipine and metformin for like 4 years. 3 or 4 years, I think. But yeah, it's like, and all this just from a few medications for bipolar, which basically caused my diabetes, and yeah, I don't know about high blood pressure though, since it might have just been the amount of soda I was drinking causing the high blood pressure. And also, caveat, I've always drinking diet soda. Like I stopped drinking regular soda when I was like 16 because that's what we had around in the house was diet soda because my parents didn't like the idea of sugar in the house. Yeah, my parents were those kind of parents. But when when the favorite foods that you love just suddenly become out of reach, it sucks. Like it really sucks. And the only way to eat good food healthily is learning how to cook and make good food and healthy food and making sure it has all the stuff and whatever. And I'm going to see a dietitian no matter what, right? At this point, that's what I have to do to get my diabetes in order. Also, hopefully, Jardiance helps. Also, yeah, Jardiance. I've been taking that in the when I wake up, which is like 1 p.m. Yeah, yeah, I wake up at 1 p.m. So basically, my antipsychotic medication plus my mood stabilizer makes me sleep around 14 hours average. It usually goes a little bit lower than that, but 14 hours. And that for work, that really only leaves one option, which is night shift. Or, by the way, if I did graveyard shift, it would end me. End me because sleep is that important to maintaining your mental health with someone with bipolar. For how I got in the mental hospital in the first place is I stayed up all day all night for 3 days straight. And that sent me into psychosis when I already had signs of bipolar. Yeah, so don't do that. Also, side note, I didn't go poop for that entire time. I went pee occasionally, but yeah, I remember that hurting like hell during the mental hospital, going to the bathroom. So there's that. Sorry if that's too much information, and hopefully the video still good and doesn't, delete itself. There's also the fact where, like, most people, usually with mental health, have some sort of like demonic or like spirit or like ghost infatuation. For me, that was a lot like that when I was first getting diagnosed. But at the same time, what's real and what's not? What's me effing with my well, me, what's me? What's my mind? What is my mind? And what is something completely else? And it took a long while for me to know, okay, this is coming from me, and this is coming from something else, and I need to just get it out of my mind. And now I know it's just me the whole time. But no, but in the past, it was really scary because I had some other experiences where I can't explain what happened. I don't even know if I want to share that. Yeah, and there are a lot of people like this, like me, where they don't know if it's ghosts or if it's their mind just effing with them. Like, just, like, yeah. And that's really scary, right? You don't know if this voice in your head, or sometimes sometimes with skiz, they're hearing this and they're thinking, is this a ghost, or is this, or do I have skiz, or is this, and if they do have skiz, is this my skiz acting up? Because sometimes voices can be really, really convincing, especially to someone with mental illness. Sorry, I'm just reflecting and it sucks. Do I want to use an example for this? Probably not. And then, so romance, I've come to the conclusion. Well, first off, my first girlfriend was online because, again, no high school. Um, and she told me to kill myself. And that left me scarred and didn't want to date for like years. And I've come to the conclusion that I'm not going to be able to find. Well, this is what it feels like, at least. I don't know if it will actually happen or not. But it feels like I won't be able to find someone that will love me for who I am unless they have something similar to what I do. What I have, like bipolar or other issues or, stuff like that. But you know what? Sometimes it's just good to be heard and stuff. And also, there is a disclaimer here. I might just stop doing YouTube altogether if I leave this up. Right. It's like 50-50 if I continue like this because people are probably not going to see this or they probably will scoff at it or whatever, but I'm just done hiding, dude. People can tell I'm hiding something and then that makes them distrust me and I can't do that anymore, man. And then that makes them distrust me and I can't do that anymore, man. And again, there's the, oh, it's just all in your head. You're just imagining things. Oh, you're just imagining things. What the frick do you mean I'm just imagining this shit? That people are just don't like me? Or that they talk behind my back when I'm not noticing? Not noticing? It's friggin' stupid, man. And then there are other like things where as a kid I really liked to sing and then someone said, "Oh, you suck at singing," and then I never sang again and it sucked. I never tried to develop my voice or anything after that because Now my voice is super, super, or a lot lower than it was. Like I was like a falsetto or whatnot. Not exactly a falsetto, but it was like a soprano, I guess. But yeah, it was like, and seeing the kids at my age at church just look at me and not wanting to associate with me. Because church is all I had, right? Growing up for like social interaction with other people my age when I was growing up because I didn't have high school. Kids can be mean, man. But at the same time, when I was starting to get older in the church, like people would still not like me because they don't want to associate with someone like me because again, they have no experience and they don't want to deal with learning or accepting. I'm not blaming them for it, right? It's like not everybody can handle me or someone like me. But still, at the same time, it hurts. It really hurts. I need some more water. Oh, damn it, Jardians. Another thing about Jardians is it makes you sweat a lot too, at least for me. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna end this here. It's already like 50 friggin' minutes. So that's my life. If you actually want to reach out to me, just leave a comment and see if I can try to help or anything. It's like safe spaces don't exist. There's always going to be that one guy or that group of people that just say, "Oh, like haters, but also like discriminators against mental health." And like friggin' the stigma that men shouldn't talk about their mental health because they're men. Bro, I don't see you missing out on 15 years of their life because of a mental illness. Oh, if I'm the exception, I'm not the exception. Okay? Men have the right to mental health care and not be afraid to talk about it. And that's why I'm done freaking hiding this. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. If you even finish the video, it's 54 minutes.